Hello and welcome, my fellow warriors. For it's I, your favorite little halfway dragon, friends of my fellow Frenchers, and protector of all. So, as for right now, I was basically going to be interviewing somebody else and all, but change the plan. So, I am interviewing a very good friend I have known for God knows how long, and I can already hear her yelling at me saying, "Why am I this small?" But yes, anyways, we're going to go ahead and see if they're ready. Hello and welcome in Topanga for Quest of the Light talk show.
Hi.
I know you're small on my end.
Mm,
Hey, I had to make room, okay?
Understandable, the variables and such.
Yes, Plague, I know. Anyways, can you briefly introduce yourself and your background about your character?
Yes. I am topanganikki. I'm an 8.8-meter giantess. That's roughly 29 feet tall, depending on how my hair sticks up. uh, yeah, I'm a giantess VTuber. Uh, just how do I put this? Wasn't always a giantess, but it, about say 2021, I just just happened.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. So, about the background of your character, would you care to explain more about it?
Uh, yeah. Just you know,
Basically, lore kind
uh,
of wise.
lore. Just uh, came down with a severe illness early in the year of 2021, and it threw me for a loop. And I just had a uh little wish in my heart to not be sick again, and later that year it just happened, and I. Ironically enough, I haven't been sick since.
Huh. I wish that could happen to me.
uh, It's not all sunshine and rainbows.
That is
had
true.
a lot had a lot to get over.
That is true. What inspired you to become a streamer?
Just other VTubers like Keys in the Eye, Iron Mouse, and just I like the process. I like to like just being able to represent yourself on the screen and interact with people. It's just a really good social environment. It's always been an inspiration to see you know what I can put out there. Just like I think of it as not just entertainment for the people that I'm streaming for, but also for myself to like you know play games, interact with other people. It's usually why I try to keep a co-host when I can. I lose track if I'm streaming alone.
I don't
I
blame you on that one.
I get too lost in the game.
That is true. That is true. So this is why I plague here the adorable sweet bean and all, who is my manager as well too, and partner in crime.
Hmm.
And yeah, he won't let me burn the contract.
You're the one who set up the contract. He
Yeah,
wants you to
but
keep.
hmm?
He wants you to keep loyal to it.
Yeah, but I keep asking him. I could burn it, or he could get an upgrade.
Yeah, we heard that before. But yeah, you started it. You're gonna finish it.
Touche, touche, touche. Besides, I wouldn't trade anything in the world for the sweet, adorable, handsome bean, which is Plague. I can already hear him grunting and doing the thing already. And of course, later on, I'm gonna get chewing out from him, like saying, "I'm not handsome, I'm not cute, nor adorable."
Of course.
Yeah. Anyways, what is the most exciting project you're currently working on or plan on working on?
I I again, most of my projects are just kind of like streaming more, maybe get some drawing practice on my phone so I can make more emotes because only so many of them can be scenes that I've made in koi katsu. Because
Right.
I've got a few that I've or artworks that I've had done by friends. I've put them in my regular emotes. My channel points are actually drawn by me. They're a little ticket,
Okay.
a
Okay.
little coupon that is like the department would have would offer to like people who are like fans or whatever.
Right. Right. Well, there's a thing that's been going around and such. I forgot what it was called, but it's a thing on Steam that you have to pay for it, but it's already out and all. It's where you can make your own custom made emotes.
Hmm.
I don't remember the name of it, but I seen it floating around and such.
Eh. Again, I don't- I really do need to start practice drawing more because I know I can do it. I just get in my own way.
Yeah, people have different ways of doing certain artworks because some people will use a regular old base and just design it their own way or whatever, or people would trace over it or draw with their own draw, any kind of ordeal and such.
Hmm. Again, just I know a lot of people are against AI, and again, I understand that, and it should never be used for AI. Should never be used for like anything like entertainment or stuff like you know what I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
streamers uh or big companies or whatever. They should not be using AI.
Right.
AI should be like with your friends who need like 5 D&D tokens for a private game.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where AI should shine. It should just be like a private like oh, I need to make 20 characters in 5 minutes before this D&D game cuz I forgot like I've designed and created these 16, but there needs to be a few more people. So I'm going to go to the AI and do that.
Well, you could probably use the Hero Forge and all.
I mean, I like yes, I eventually do want to get it. That's another thing I'm probably going to save up for is a 3D printer, because I do want to be able to just print little figurines like that.
Right. All right.
Ironically, as a giantess, they probably wouldn't be that little of a figure.
And they'll probably be like the size of a Barbie doll.
Yes, actually, thinking about thinking how big a ranger key is, yeah, it'd be about a model a D&D model would be of the size of a Barbie doll. You're actually
Your character would be.
yeah.
Okay. What is the most exciting project you are currently working on?
Mm, again, more just like scenes in Koikatsu, just little images that I make.
Oh, sorry. I forgot we already did that one. But again, brain's not here, not working. I blame Blake for
That's
this.
okay. Take your
Yeah.
time. Again, you said because you earlier you said want to or are currently, and we count those as two questions.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. And Blake's not wrong. Hero Forge makes decent files and it all depends on your preference for quality. He's not wrong
Mm-hmm.
about it, you know.
So I think 4 is the one you're looking.
But yeah. Can you share any recent activities or milestone in your career, like your streaming career?
Uh, hmm. I think coming up like this August will be my second year as affiliate.
Oh,
So that's going to be interesting. It was
nice.
it's again I'm actually proud to get there because a little bit of back to the a little bit of the lore is the channel originally belonged to someone you knew from Imvu, Somnium leader Atsuko.
Right, right, right.
Like Atsuko owned the channel, but she kind of got jaded from it, and it just kind of I started streaming on that channel, and then the name of the channel changed to mine.
Okay, which is completely understandable. Uh, my Twitch kind of anniversary when I became a streamer is on. I don't have to remember honestly. It's on February the 11th of 2023. So I've been doing it for about 3 years as a streamer, and of course I got affiliated on March 27th as well.
Oh, so yours is coming up actually in a month or so.
Yes, but for my 3 years as a streamer and all, I'm gonna be on a hiatus break unless Plague is okay with this. I have to talk to him off the stream about it.
It's fine. Again, this the starting stream thing. I don't even remember because, again, that was over on Atsu. I don't. I had to look it up, and I really don't want to.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. Trust me on this.
Hmm.
But yeah.
So I
All
guess
right.
that also lands at a 5. What the stream first started as.
Yeah, what did you first start streaming as? Like a PNG,
Uh,
Vroid, or face
I
cam streamer, or just a voice?
um, I think it was a little bit of PNG, but then I discovered Viroid. Like that was where Atsu and I, because we both went back and forth stuff. We started with just a PNG image and then Vroid. Vroid was
Mm-hmm.
actually fun, but a lot of work when you think about the behind the scenes. Like,
That
and
is
I know
true.
anything, even a PNG can be a lot of work if you don't have the right program.
Right, right, right. Because for myself, I started out just a simple picture that I found, did a little bit of editing, and I told people, hey, this is not my real artwork. I just try to get close to my character as possible and everything, just a little bit of editing here and there.
Mm.
And then later, someone told me about Vroid, and let's just say my computer hated me for that one. And then, of course,
Oh,
after Vroid, someone told me about, this PNG thing and such. I'm like, okay, I'll give this a try. And I didn't have
mm.
artwork on my character, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna use the pit crew, which basically you could customize, like you've seen streamers do it, like
Yep.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And I say, hey, I just put this together, whatever, as a PNG and a Fuji reactor kind of ordeal, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so then later on, I became a 2D dimensional of Jen. Now you see here. Well, this is
Mm-hmm.
still a PNG,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
And uh, hopefully soon I will also have a live 2D. Uh, there is there. Let's just say there's a certain streamer Hedgehog that is working diligently, well, as diligently as he can for someone with other jobs to do.
Right, right, right.
I If I can get it by June, I will be super happy because I want like the summer. I want to get something updated for the summer
Maybe you could do it on
because
your birthday, like a debut, like what I did for mine.
mine's in my well again my birthday's in November, so that would be another long wait. I kind of on one of my streams earlier gave an ultimatum. I don't know if he'd ever have heard from my vods or whatever.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's on there, but I might tell him because I didn't get the chance to clip that a video that he has till like hurry, but June is at the latest if he can because I said if he can get it by June, I will
Mm-hmm.
change all of my deck sleeves in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel into the Yu-Gi-Oh card sleeve I got called Star Ham Ham because he has an altar for him called Star Hurricane, which is he's a hedgehog and that's a hamster, but
Okay.
both the star themed. So it would and I would change my mate to Quillbolt Hedgehog. So you have Star Hedgehog.
Ah, okay. Uh, and we already asked how long you've been streaming for. That you don't know about because you don't want to go back and look, right?
I don't want to go back and look because we could go back to when we started with Otsko, which again forgotten history because she doesn't want to remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started, it was kind of a half and half. It was in between her run and my run that I started on the streaming.
Oh, right, right, right. And I met you back in what? God, 2010?
Yep, that was yep 2010. It's
Yeah,
been 16 years.
I know it's been so long, and people like saying, "Wow, that's a long time of being friends."
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But yeah. Uh, Next question: what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a streamer? What'd your advice be?
Well, first of all, uh, I have it here that do not be going in just for the purpose of earning money because it's a lot like voice acting where you might get pennies on the dollar. It it takes a long time to get even a payout, especially if you're just starting out because you're doing it basically as an internship. Before you get affiliate, it is absolutely nothing in it unless you put a donation link and people donate to you. But
Right,
don't be looking for money right away if you're just starting out. Do it for the fun of it. Do it for your own entertainment, your friends' entertainment, and maybe some other people will come along and be entertained. And the other thing is you really have to be willing to put in the work because a lot of us streamers do make it look super easy. But I have been through so much audio stuff and videos and stuff like I've been through many of a computer and stuff trying to get just the right setup so that things run smoothly.
right, right, right.
Like
Eh,
there's a lot of work behind the scenes and you've got to be willing to do it.
That is true. That is true. And also the other advice I told a few people about this when they asked me what I do to become a streamer. Uh, my advice is do something you're comfortable with. If you want to show your face,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead. Or if you just want to be the mysterious voice, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to become a VTuber and such, I'll be like saying, okay, So start as a VTuber, find something that matches your character, like from video game creations, like Soul Calibur 6
Mhm.
or Final Fantasy, all that.
And again, a little behind the curtain, back to the background, a little outside of kayfabe kind of thing, because I knew I wanted to be a giant as VTuber, but I wasn't sure what scale. But then one of the manga that came along about 2020 or so, uh, its English title is "My Girlfriend is 8 meters tall." Uh, Japanese name Chira Koiwa 8 meter. That's where I learned that's where I found it from, was the online scans. But I do have the physical copies now. I am supporting the author.
And yes, Mail, basically OBS is scary because you think you have everything running smoothly and all, but with OBS, oh boy.
Yeah, but don't don't fall into the trap of getting Streamlabs. They will try to charge you for everything, but they are just using OBS and just giving it to you behind a paywall.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Uh, I learned that the hard way. I didn't pay any money for it, but I was stuck behind stuff that, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that, and then someone told me, this is just OBS, which is open source. Go get that, and then you can get all the stuff for free. And I'm like,
It's true.
and I'm like, that opened a lot of doors for me and Atsu. Like way back in the day when we first got OBS, I was like, holy crap, this stuff that I thought all these streamers were paying hundreds of dollars for because they had it, they're not using Streamlabs, they're using OBS. And that's the
Well,
don't let
some
the if someone's trying to sell you something, always double check, make sure there isn't an open source first.
right. But yeah, also the other part is too, of course, this is true for me. When I started streaming, I basically used Stream Elements because that was the first thing I used back in God. And everything was good and all, but then later on, I was like, I'm gonna give OBS a try. And I had a few friends help me set up everything with OBS, and I have to say,
Yep.
OBS is a miracle worker, honestly.
Yep. You just gotta know how to set up your sources, and it it works.
And another part is too, even some streamers will say this, and I will vouch for it. If you don't have scuff that's going on, you're not a true streamer.
Mm, yeah, yeah. We pray to the gods of scuff that it's not something vital. Like
Right.
I after this, one of my VODs that's up from yesterday, half the stream is silent because I had my mic muted.
Oh my god, that reminds me of the time when I was playing Terrors of Nowhere on Friday and all, and we had Mystic Moon, and I forgot to basically say, that I forgot that I was still in AFK while the event was happening.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but
whoopsies.
one more thing with the manga, that like this manga that I have is what made me decide the scale of person, because they imply that before Giant she was about 5'3", and I
Mm-hmm.
kind of did a scale calculator thing. She's about 5 times scale,
Hmm.
so that 8 meters is 5 times scale of 160. Well, I'm 176, which
Damn.
makes me taller than her by like 6 inches, like at normal height, normal human height. So
Right.
I'm I'm about 3 feet taller than her,
Damn.
give or take. Because
And
she
Plague
hers
here.
because 8 meters is 26 feet, and
Wow.
I'm almost 29. It's like it's 28'10", but most people call it 29 because my hair sticks up most of the time. They're like,
Yeah.
close enough.
I'm like 5'2", and Plague here, he's like 5'11", and a few of my friends are like 6 foot, 7 foot, or almost 8 foot, and I have to look up towards him like, let me go get my neck brace.
Let me go get the neck pillow.
I mean, the neck pillow will be comfortable, but also can be sore at times. So that's why I'm saying, let me go get the neck brace, because if you put that neck brace on, it will lift your head up a little bit and you can move your eyes up. Yeah.
But yeah, the just the uh but yeah, that's and kind of the going to the memorable experience story. Yeah, just all the stuff that I've had to deal with over time. That's kind of what we were just talking about. Just
Yeah.
uh what challenges have you faced in streaming career? Again, it's always the scuff. It'll always be the scuff. No matter how
Mm-hmm.
good of a computer have you got, a top of the line computer, there will always be something that messes up.
Right. And of course, don't forget you get that special treasure person or the super fan that happens to appear and such.
Oh yeah, the very memorable is when someone like you you meet someone. Sometimes again, there are two types of fans, and I'm not gonna say any names, but there's ones that will, especially if you have Discord, will message you constantly in a just they're like nervous. They're like hi, and they want to know about you, but they just feel like sometimes sometimes they're the kind that ask the same questions over and over because maybe they forget and they want to ask again. They want to know how you feel, but
Mm-hmm.
it's it's very parasocial feeling. Like
Yeah.
they just it's less about wanting to know you and more knowing about like the. But then there are the ones that are just about as obsessed, but they go about it the right way.
That is true. That is true. But also, we will talk about that problem when. Oh, I'm sorry, Mal. I'm sorry, sweetie. But we could talk about that after our break when we get done with certain questions.
Okay.
Um, okay. Can you share any memorable experience or stories that, you cherish forever and everything that you can look back and laugh at and just think about it?
Oh, what was it memorable? It was like because you look back and laugh at all the stuff that you've actually had. It's like what I'm talking about is um like any like there have been many VOD that I've had to just remove because they
Mm-hmm.
were totally silent. But you know that even if nobody heard any audio from your side, you still had a great time. You were still playing a game that you were interested in.
Right, right, right. And of course, there'll be some scuff moments with your friends and everything, because
Mm-hmm.
a few times you've seen this before. I think you've been around it as well. So has played here. When we're playing Tears of Nowhere or any type of game, I'm like, oh, I think I might survive this. And then something bad happens.
Yeah, you're quote unquote blessed with that ability in Terrace. I've watched it. I'm like, oh no, she said the thing.
Yeah, because of course you remember the one time where I basically saying I never got the W achievement and I got it, but then later on, that is true. Scott for Friends, it's really good. But then thanks to Blake here, he got that one clip where I said, "W, please come get me." No wait, I didn't stream it and stuff, but I got a clip of it on my end with Metal.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Metal. And of course, it's still pretty funny when I'm like, "W, come get me, please," and it fell on top of me and a few friends. Yeah.
Dang, I need to. If I go back to Terrace of Nowhere, I need to bring you along for that one because that's the achievement I've been trying to get. Something always happens before it can.
Yeah, Blake here, he can vouch for it. A few times I say something and people get the achievement and such.
Mm.
Yeah. Uh, See, he got it because all I said, oh, he might survive this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. How do you stay? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Funny enough, if Plague wasn't here, he'll tell you the story. Okay. Okay. It's pretty funny, and there's a lot of it on YouTube and everything with my birthday stream. Okay. And it was just
Mm-hmm.
friends with us or whatever. We were just hanging there and such. The first couple of rounds and stuff, I basically said we're probably not going to get Arcus or whatever. He got Arcus twice
Mm-hmm.
while having the Mountain Dew can. It's true. It's true. It's true. Then later on, after the Mountain Dew can, we got Arcus on the third round with another mutual friend and all. But yeah, and of course, there's a clip I did, and again, it was still on my birthday round and everything.
Hmm.
And I said, Tiffany, come get me. And you can see in the text where it's like, okay, you asked for it. And then I was saying, I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic. And I got killed by Tiffany.
Uh huh.
And it says, sure you were. Sure you were. But yeah. Oh God. It's still funny to look back at those memories and just laugh about it and everything.
Hmm.
And but yeah. But oh my God. Do not let Plague drive in Are we there yet? Do not let him drive.
Wait, the RV there. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that that's a wild looking game.
It's funny and hilarious and wild because I told Plague before, I said, let me go get certain parts and I can help you out with this. No, he had to do it on his own. And he almost destroyed the RV.
Yeah, I saw how what shape it was in when uh, it was in pretty poor shape when I joined to watch.
Yes. And I'm like, Plague, I told you to wait, buddy. Ugh.
But you were saying,
Yeah, but again, that level was hard. And we're not doing that level again. We are not.
yeah,
Yeah, anyways, what challenges have you faced in your streaming career and how did you overcome them? Like with the hate raids or the crazy fans. How did you overcome them?
yeah, I just kind of just deal with it the best I can. Just just stay calm about it. Like I think one of the worst ones was a long time ago. I streamed Fatal Bullet, and someone was trying to help me out, but
Mm-hmm.
then other people were like being like hateful and mean to the other person, like
Oof.
yeah, the just to know, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet community, just a wee bit toxic.
I don't blame you. That's how it is.
Modding modding community is nice, a lot of good mods for it, but the general community,
Mm-hmm.
it's not. I just you know, the ones who start using like really like negative speech, you just kind of block them, ban them
Yeah.
from your stream. Just kind of like you know disciplinary measures. Maybe like you know did it. I don't know if it always teaches them to be better, but we try.
Yeah, it's
Like
just pretty
it's some.
weird because sometimes with certain groups and the communities you're in, the mods tend to be the assholes, and sometimes the GP depends, who they are and such, tends to be really sweet and kind. But then when you go to the other part of, like the different necks of the woods, basically the
Mm-hmm.
mods are great people and all, but the GP can be total assholes.
GP general public.
Yep.
Yeah, because yeah, as people who make mods are usually decent because they're trying to fix what's broken with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, oh, this aesthetic should be here, not that, so here's this. But yeah, it's usually the general public that like, the usual players. It's
Right.
like the kind of people you see in Fortnite where because the regular battle royale you have to find a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
uh but most people will gun you down before you even find one.
Or they mostly just basically camp there waiting for you to come by with a lot of loot and just shoot you there, not moving a muscle or whatever. And then, of
Yep.
course, later on, it's like over and over and over again until the final round. Like if
Yeah.
you're down to like the 10-second mark, they'll basically go after the last person and then collect all the loot and say in first
Yep.
place.
Yep. Again, there's a lot of video game players who will just they're like there's no like buffer space courtesy.
Right. And
They
you've probably seen this before on 14, how some people are in dungeons and such. Yeah, because basically they don't want to play the game and such. It's just like, oh,
oh
we're just
it's
here to have fun.
again I like being the gamer that's here for fun, but there's just too many gamers out there who just are out there to win. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't play ranked master duel to win duels. It feels good too, but a lot of the times I'm just there to complete missions.
Right. And for me, I'm just there to make friends and have fun and for people to have fun as well. I
Mm,
don't care if you win or lose. If you win, I made this rule before and I think people like the rule because basically for the person who wins, they can still use the same cards. If they lose the cards that they won with, they have to switch it around.
right. It also that also encourages trying new decks.
Hmm.
If you get bested, try something new. You might actually win.
Right. And even the greatest cards that some people have and stuff can win with those. And sometimes they cannot win with them.
Sometimes someone just gets lucky and outs the deck. And then you
Hmm.
gotta try something else. And I like that rule. It's a good what do they call it? Round robin strategy.
Hmm. And then basically, if they want to face other challengers, they can. Like the
Mm-hmm.
people, like say for example, you and I are playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I lost, you won. And we have two other people like Plague playing it, and another person. We'll just
Mm-hmm.
say Bob. All right, and if you won and I lost, we go and expect them. And if they're still going at it, and if Plague
Mm-hmm.
won, basically I go and face him, and Bob goes and face you. And if I win and Plague loses, and you still win, and
Mm-hmm.
Bob loses, then Plague can go and face you, and Bob can go face me.
Yep. And the decks have been swapped out.
Mm-hmm. But
So
yeah,
that it's not so like if you win a lot, yeah, you get to keep the deck you're playing with, but if you're losing it, actually instead of being stubborn, it's like, no, I need to keep using this. I will eventually win with it. Try something else.
mm-hmm.
You might actually find a strategy that's more comfortable with you.
Right. And it's just like what Yu-Gi-Oh say, believe in the cards, because it's like the heart of the cards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I have faced as a streaming career, and I think everybody has faced this before, it's like those
Mm-hmm.
special treasures and such.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean by special treasures.
Uh, just
In other words, the super fans.
yep.
Yeah, and Plague plus you and a few others have witnessed this and everything. And truth be told, this did happen. And I do not wish to happen it on anybody. But let's just say, and I never figured it would happen to me and such, because you guys know how I'm a nice, caring person, and I try to help those as the best I can with my how my heart is and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you said a few times, Topanga. Even though you have a big heart, it will come and bite you in the ass soon.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't mean you have to lose that heart. It's more about um, there will always be people who don't like you. There's always going to be one person, one or two people that just aren't going to click, and you just gotta rise above that eight.
Yeah,
Don't let it
and the
get in the way of
surprising
you.
fan, aka the special treasure, the other part I'm talking about, I wish this does not happen to anyone. Basically, we have this one person who's like saying, "Oh, you're so nice, you're so sweet," and mistaking your kindness as a flirtation, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Most of the younger ones going after the older ones, like that one person I
Mm.
showed you of with the VOD from other different points of views of other people. Yeah. Because at first I'm like, you know what? I am not gonna be the, how do I word it? Or how would somebody word it? Basically, I am not gonna be the one saying, hey, this person's doing this and that. No. I was just waiting for it to calm down, see where it leads or whatever. And then, of course, a few people, saw this or whatever, and they were spreading around and such.
Again, rumors will always spread. It's just one of the worst things in the world, but it happens.
Yeah, but like I said, I just kept going forward, my own business, doing my own thing as usual until they messaged me again on, well, on Twitch and stuff. I'm thinking, hmm? So when they told me what happened and such, I'm like, okay, you lost your account and all. And again, how they were talking to me and everything, I thought they were just being friendly. They probably gave up on me or whatever. Big mistake right there. They still wanted to be with me, and they were like 19, and I'm like
Ooh.
340 years old. And I'm like, no. And I kept telling them
For
no.
the audience that's about 34 and half dragon.
Yes. But yeah, but anyways, I was at my wits end. I was at my wits end. I had to stand my ground. I was like, no more of this. No more hiding. No more trying to be, hiding in the shadows. I had to put my foot down. And a few people came to me saying they had the same thing happen to them, along with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm sorry, but if you don't like me the way I am for, helping out my friends and trying to keep their community safe along with my community, sorry, but not sorry. That's how I am.
I mean, safety is very important.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and usually if I get a bad vibe from a person or whatever, I'll be like, I got a really bad vibe for this person. I don't know 100%, but I'm going to keep a close eye on them as such. And if someone says, oh, this person's harmless or whatever, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just getting this weird vibe from them. And what happens when I have that weird vibe?
Usually, if you have a bad vibe, it usually leads to something. You're,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say, uh, you've you've grown to be quite. You started out a very naive half dragon, but you've really grown into maturity. You're not as easily fooled as you used to be.
Hey, we were young and,
I know.
young ones. And if somebody was in their like 20s and stuff, they're still learning about the adult world and everything
Right,
and
right.
such.
They don't. That's the other thing is they don't teach you a lot of things about life in like high school and stuff. You don't learn like the depths of the real world as much as they should be teaching you. But to be fair, the world is constantly changing, and
Yeah,
some things that they could have taught back then may not be true now.
that is, I hate to say it, but it is kind of true, honestly. But
But
before we skip this, we forget about the other topic as well, since we keep talking about this as such. Next question, and then after that, we are going to take a quick break. And again, chat, after this question, if you need something to drink, something to eat, if you got to get up and stretch, move around a bit, go right ahead and all. But right now, I'm going to ask this last question before we go on a break. How do you
okay,
stay motivated?
hey, you know, first of all, one of the things I usually ask myself in streams, especially if I don't have a co-host keeping the conversation going,
Mm-hmm.
that question becomes a really tough question sometimes. But it's more of like, am I playing what I enjoy? Is it like I'm not gonna play a game just because someone says, "Hey, you should stream this," because unless I enjoy the game, I'm probably not gonna enjoy the stream. Like that,
Right.
the motivation has to be in it. But a lot of the motivation is that I have a story that I want to tell about myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I get to play video games alongside telling that story.
Right. And
And
that's the other thing too, do the comfort of the level you're comfortable with, like the games you
mm-hmm,
enjoy playing.
mm-hmm,
And then you may take off, who knows? Cuz for me, Final Fantasy 14 was my comfort game and I played that nonstop and everything.
mm-hmm.
And then later on I tried to play Monster Hunter for which one was it? Monster Hunter World. And I had a
Hmm.
few problems there because, on an old laptop and
Oh yeah,
such. Yeah. But
that
I
that
still
I bet that did chug.
Oh, yeah, pretty badly. And again, I just tried the comforting level, and I was still on 14 and everything because my PC, well, laptop could handle it and everything. And sometimes it'd be something different. But
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, later on, people say, "Hey, give this game a try. It seems interesting. It may be your cup of tea and everything." And of course, with certain games and stuff, I'll be like, let me give it a try, see if I like it. If I don't like it, I'll be like, I'm sorry, I tried it. It's not my thing, but hey, I gave it a try. And if I enjoy it, I'll see if other people have it. And I could probably collab with them with that if they're comfortable with it.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Just like when we played Among Us and I was in trouble for it.
Mm.
Don't you remember that one?
How about Lethal Company when you left me behind?
Oh yes, yes.
There's a story that we could tell, but
You tell that story.
I thought it'd be funny because I was exploring the uh one of the hatches on the planet, and you're like, you just go to one of your friends, hey, just go. Where do you go? I'm climbing out of the hatch, and I just see the ship fly away.
uh, man, Lethal Company was funny and hilarious. Honestly, it was.
It's a fun game regardless.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Maybe someday, we could probably play Repo. You, me, your partner, and Plague if your partner has Repo.
They first of all, I don't have it right now, but we can uh uh they're still waiting on a new PC. They're there's they're on a they're still on Windows 10, and their PC also has some faulty parts in it. So
Oof.
they're 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 hanging by a thread. They're not pushing their luck by trying to get Steam to work.
Well, not now, not now, but in the near future.
Uh yeah, maybe sometime around the winter time. Hopefully it's not going to be more than a year for them having
Oh,
getting that.
trust me, it stinks. I had to wait till I got, you know, if you guys know the situation I was in, I had to wait till I was out there till I got my own PC.
Mm-hmm.
And I did.
Yep.
So after asking that question, we are gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break. If you guys need something to drink, something to eat, go ahead. Give me a moment. I will do this again. But here are the commands if you need to go lurk, or if you want to go check out my blue skies, everything. Which I will do my socials real quick. But yeah, and of course, with the group of VR chat, it is now in the Millennia area. Thanks to Plague here, the most adorable, sweet, handsome, handful, well, helpful, adorable being here. But again, we're going to take a 5-minute break and we will be right back. right, we are back, chat. I gotta take a quick drink, real quick.
Hmm.
Ugh. But yeah. All right. How do you approach your problem solving in your streaming career? Like with computer issues, or like when you're in the middle of a game, it crashes, but your OBS doesn't, or your OBS crashes, but the game's still going. How do you problem
I
solve
just
that?
most of the time I just ride it out. Sometimes I if it's too much and I feel that it's gonna be too much work to get the stream back going, I'll just end the stream.
Fair, fair, fair.
Troubleshoot it while I'm offline.
Right. For myself, and a few friends would say this. I just keep going, talk still. Like if my game
Hmm.
crashes or whatever, I still talk. I just keep
Yeah.
going or whatever.
The if, again, as long as it's not too debilitating to the stream, you just keep going. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And of course, if my OBS crashes or whatever, I basically just tell my community, "Hey, OBS crash. We're gonna get things back up and going, all that kind of stuff, and act like it never happened."
Yep. Little messages in the Twitch chat because of how OBS sometimes doesn't like you to have the add button as a source on OBS. You have to do it from Twitch itself to manually run ads.
That is true. That
Uh,
is true.
I will usually have my text chat up on stream too. So if OBS isn't sending, although OBS always sends, but if OBS is crashes and like closed out, I'll put it in the text chat
Okay,
on
I will have to check that out
Twitch.
later, sweetie. But yes, of course, there is another program you could use, which is called Ghost Chat. Where you're playing the game and stuff. You cannot respond to the chat by typing and whatever, but you can respond to them when you see a pop up. Like if the game doesn't have like a certain quality where you know you cannot go to window mode, it just stays in full screen. You can have
Things
the
like things like
Mhm.
VR chat have use Ghost Chat. I know.
that.
I should actually. I might actually get that um running so I can have. I might have it paired to Pal World as well, because then I can actually have the in-game experience, so I can see chat
Mhm.
and you know at, keep the immersion.
Right,
It'll tell me when ads are coming up, so I can find a spot to take a break.
right, right. Depending on how long your ads are going for, honestly, it just depends.
Yeah, they run about 3 minutes.
For me, just 90 seconds.
Yeah, but you get
Hmm?
that's a minute and a half. So you run more. You would run more ads for that amount of time.
Yeah,
I
and
only I usually only stream about 2 hours, so
well,
um
for me, it's
I
mostly
can
about 2 or 3 hours, sometimes longer.
I usually I've done the things like the 3 minute ads for every hour,
Mm.
but uh it might help the ad revenue a little for my end. But I've started manually running them every half hour because like a 30-minute block on like a television show,
Right, right,
you'll
right,
have like a short stretch of ads in
right,
between, and I think it runs better that way.
right. Okay. As a streamer, could you share any lessons you have learned from your failure and mistake? You know.
Um, uh, Definitely. What is it? Pay attention to your audio sources. I still don't do that sometimes, but make sure your microphones are turned on. Make sure, especially before you hit um stream, uh be in a call like on Discord or whatever with if you have a co-host or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
make sure the audio source does the little color bouncy on the screen that lets them know that they can be heard on stream.
Right.
Because I've had that fault constantly.
And also another thing is to always have a second or third pair of eyes for your stream because usually
Yes.
let's put it this way, if you have to go AFK and you forgot that you have it on AFK still and nobody can hear you and stuff, it's like nobody can see what's happening. They can just see the AFK, or they can hear the background but not
Yep.
your voice. Or if somebody has like
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
people's volumes turned up really loud or the background music, yeah, name it, you gotta have like a second or a third pair of eyes and ears with you.
Yep. It's
Or
why a lot of my friends,
yeah.
a few of the people in my friend group, they act as co-hosts and managers. They check the stream to make sure things are working because
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I know a lot of people don't hear it my voice, but when I hear my voice recorded, it adds I just can't. I can't. Like there's a small dissonance of how I actually sound to what the difference between actual voice and head voice, and the microphone catches the actual voice, so it doesn't
Right.
sound like I think it does. So it creates a dissonance, and I'm getting over it a little, but it's still in the process of acclimating to what I sound like, and
Right, right.
I know it'll improve things because eventually I won't be a voice actress for like because again I'm collecting the manga so I can see where the translations lie because uh I've read all the way through with the fan translation
Mm-hmm.
and I have 2 out of the 6 volumes of the English translation. I'll be getting the next one in April because that's when it's released in English.
Right, right.
I'll have 3 volumes. I'll have 3 volumes in April, and that uh, I don't care if I voice the main character Chieri. If they I I just want people out there to know that I want to voice a character. I want to be part of the project because the the manga itself has inspired me so much.
And as Plague would say, just keep practicing and you'll get better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And also like keep I just keep doing what I do and get the word out because the
Mm-hmm.
more I talk about it, the more because you'd be like people underestimate that we're all just people. We're all just doing our best to do things, and the more people you talk to, you can find opportunities.
Right. And it depends on which crowd of the people you vibe with, honestly. Some can state honest
Mm-hmm.
opinion because, honesty is the best policy. And some people will be like, one of those, I don't know how to word it and stuff, to be like, oh, you're doing amazing, blah, blah, blah. But really, when they talk to other people behind your back and stuff, they say this person not doing so well. That kind of stuff.
Oh, it's uh false platitudes, pleasantries,
Thank you.
but then
Yes.
they show their true face of behind behind the person's back,
Mm-hmm.
which that sucks when people are fake like that.
Right. And sometimes you have
Like
those
there's
people.
pretending,
Yeah.
and then there, but then there's you know doing it just to make someone feel better for just to you know like but there's not there's pretending to make someone there's making someone feel better, but it's so they can have the confidence to be better. But there's a lot of people who just don't mean it, and they're just doing their best to get out of this situation, get out of that conversation.
Right, right.
Just tell people what they want to hear, and then go, and then step behind a closed door, and go, oh, that was horrible.
Mm-hmm. And that is true. That is true, Malphus. That is true, sweetie. But yeah, and also you have other people who are like saying, they will say, "Oh, you did amazing," but I want to be straightforward with you. Because let's say, for example, you were singing and I heard you sing, and I was like, "You did really amazing, but you kind of do need a little bit of practice, but you're getting there, like that kind of ordeal."
Mhm. Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's like constructive criticism that it's like I always appreciate that it was good, but it could be better
Mm-hmm. And we don't want
because
people where it's
that gives.
basically, sorry, but go ahead.
I know where you're going with that, but yeah, it's just you know, because constructive criticism is good because we can actually work on ourselves and actually be better.
Mm-hmm. Because the other thing is too, the one I hate the most that grinds my gears, and this is true and everything, is where people like saying, and they say, because I like the people where they say, "Oh, you did a great job, but you need practice. You need, basically that gives you a little confidence, that gives you a little boost." But the one thing I hate the most is where people saying, where they go up to you saying, "You did horribly wrong. Your voice is off a tune," and basically saying, "Oh, you can't
Right.
sing worth." You sound like when you're singing like cats on a chalkboard. Everything else is like,
Um,
ouch.
Yeah. Leans actually leans into the negative. How do I handle negative feedback of some people? Um, Again, the people who are, as you said, they're just like harsh without any way to like fix it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you told me I suck, but but telling me I suck doesn't make me any better.
Right. It's
If
basically, when people say,
if you
"Oh,
tell
you suck,"
me more
and such,
practice,
you know.
like if I need more practice, okay, where can I improve? That's what we're looking for. Is we're looking for
Right.
improvement because
Right.
trust me, when I started playing instruments in band way back, uh, I was probably extremely horrible and probably annoyed the crap out of my parents. But
Mm-hmm.
eventually, I got better at it. I
Right.
learned the things like any instrument can be tuned, even if it's your voice.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to practice. You have to know what to fix it, and that's where when it says how do you handle negative feedback. If it's constructive feedback, I look I look inward and think, okay, so how can I work on this to actually make it better?
Right. And you got some people who's willing to help. Others is like, basically, some people are willing to help. Others just basically when they say, "Oh, you suck," all that kind of stuff, giving you the negative activity and such. Some of them will probably just say, "I don't think you should do such and such with the XYZ or the ABC." It's like, ouch.
Mm, right? And again, a lot of it is um sometimes it's about finding a different approach
Mm-hmm.
because again, I've been personally working on maybe eventually doing a Huntrix cover with maybe get a few people to go along because I know I cannot sing Rumi's part. It was not built for me. And I could because EJ has her live version that's a little bit lower
Uh-huh.
because she wrote the song for someone who could sing higher than her. And she sang it at that level for the movie, but when she performs it live, she's about, I want to say, half an octave lower
Hmm. Okay.
because her voice is actually naturally a deeper range, which
Mm-hmm.
actually fits another character in the movie. The one that's singing voice is Audrey Nuna,
Mm-hmm.
Mira.
Yeah.
Like that's more my vocal range. That's like there's still some sharp notes that I can't quite hit, but I instead of trying to hit the notes like they do,
Mm-hmm.
I try to figure out how to modulate it a little bit so it you know how so it would fit comfortably with my own voice.
Right, right, right. Which is totally
Because
understandable, hon.
I know
Okay. You're fine.
I'm
You're
mildly
fine.
tone deaf,
You're fine.
especially I like to sing with both headphones on, but Dos Equis keeps telling me take one off. It relieves a lot of the pressure in your sinuses when you're singing.
Mm, yeah, I was practicing singing with Plague, and he said with the song, and you know Birthday Massacre, don't you?
Mm.
Yeah, when I sung that song for the very first time with him in a call, and he said I am getting a lot better. And of course, I was practicing singing the One Eyed Doll, Brave Candle. He said I got really good at it and stuff. But he says, "How long you been practicing?" I said, "I don't know, when my sister's not around or when I'm alone." You know.
Hmm.
But yeah.
So yeah,
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. I think you're probably getting tired, aren't you?
yeah,
But yeah.
relatively not entirely.
All right. Uh, who motivates you to keep pushing forward in your streaming career? Who motivates you?
Just friends and stuff that enjoy coming to my streams and stuff. Just
Mm-hmm.
just there's always a few people who stop by, and every once in a while there'll be a new follower, and they may not ever come back to a stream, but the fact that they've stopped by and they made an attempt, it's it's just it's enough to keep pushing forward.
Right,
It's
right.
but sometimes uh a little bit back to one of the advice things that also applies to this is
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to be your own motivation. Sometimes you have to wake up and be like, well, I've set myself to this, and some days there is no motivation, and sometimes you have to go on to your social like, yeah, not feeling it. That the stream is just kind of, you know, again,
Right,
things come up
right.
always. Like
And
in a perfect world, we could all show up to our streams on time, but it's VTuber law. You're going to be late to something, or sometimes not even on the day you planned it.
that is true. That is true. Or as a friend would say, I am not late. Everyone's just simply early. You know?
Uh, and then there's Project Melody's thing because the stream doesn't start with her, so she starts her notification with "I'm not late, you're late."
But yeah. And if one of my mods are here, can you please give Topanga here a shout out, please? And that is true. Self care days are good. And again, I have a manager, which is thanks to Playcare. And of course, Topanga knows how much I am with my scheduling and stuff from a certain month to a
Hmm.
different month. And they saw how full my list was for collabs from January all the way through a certain month and everything else. But yeah, half the time I mostly will take a break. What, every a month from streaming, like about 3 months to two, three, and sometimes I will keep streaming for 4 months. Thank you, Plague.
Yeah, a lot of my hiatuses just happen on like I'll be on like a certain week of the month. I'll be like, yeah, nothing for this week. Just
Right.
clear the schedule. I've done that a few times. It's like I don't have any games that I'm interested in playing on stream. Like there's like there's just been weeks where it's like, what do I do? So I basically take that week to regroup and think, okay, what do I have that feels like I can get through pretty easily.
Right. Or maybe you could just join
Fortnite
somebody's
streams are getting
collab, you
pretty
know?
good. Oh, I love joining collabs. That's kind of like that's why I jumped to this interview real quick because
Hey,
it's just a Discord
Alistair,
call
how are you
and
doing?
same thing with something I'm doing this Friday with a streamer known as Dr. Spoos. They
Ooh, I hope
they
it goes well.
they're not Friday. That's right. It has been on Fridays, but this week they're doing it on a Thursday.
Oh, hey,
I've
Raven. I'm
noted.
sorry, but I'm
Mm,
so. You had so many name changes, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah.
yeah.
All
But
right.
yeah, doing voices for characters is fun.
It's true. It can be sometimes and stuff. All right. Next question. What do you call your community?
I don't really have a proper name. I think by the time I have like my live 2D debut, I might have something. I've got like um because my server is split between safe for work and not safe for work.
Fair, fair, fair.
I have let me check my tags real quick. Uh uh forget
God,
I don't
I
have
remember the
them.
past it just used to be
Uh
Warriors and Adventurers because I didn't think of a good name for it.
because mhm. Because uh any the basic everyone tag that
Hmm.
people under 18 would have is small beans, and then the ones that are NSFW it's shorties. But that's just for my server. I don't really use that in general for my community. It was just kind of a placeholder on my Discord.
All right, I have an idea.
And
Maybe we could call them the Jumping Jelly Beans.
funny, funny.
It's an idea.
Nah, yeah. Again, I I think if I can get a constant enough following,
Hmm.
I'll kind of let them pick the name because I have like certain names for people who like are subscribed because I have like donators, benefactors. Basically they're giving money to the department so you know I can keep my streams going as well as maybe even helps the department pay for certain things.
Right, right. Okay. I got a next question for you, Topanga.
Hmm?
What is your approaching to setting goals? Like what is your goal?
Uh, I just you know what what can like when it comes to goals, it's just like what will help me be the most comfortable with myself. Like I don't I don't strive for anything too big. I I just want to be more comfortable with myself and
Right. But what I'm talking about goal wise is basically, what I did, try to get my model rigged and stuff, try to pay off for some goal, or if I would have moved out of the household kind of goal, or get a new computer type of goal, that kind of goal I was talking about.
again, I just how I approach that is just a little bit at a time. Something uh uh
Hey,
I've
yeah,
stated with Dos
boy, how you
Equis.
doing,
Like
sweetie?
it's the thing the Dos Equis brought up to me and I've added it to my outro
Mm-hmm.
is to celebrate the little victories.
Right,
Like
right.
every little bit that you can get is uh, a step towards whatever greater goal. So, and that's kind of how I've started living things is just, start making smaller goals to make it to the bigger ones.
Mm-hmm. But that is true. I already completed one of my goals, but there are a couple of goals as well. And of course, you don't know about this, and only a few people do. But, and this is true, basically, if I reach about 1.5K followers, I will play Huntsman, the spider game. Ooh, nice. But yes, I'll be playing Huntsman, which is a spider game. And of course, if somebody could create this, I will wear Poppy's Playtime, the pink version of Huggy Wuggy, which is called
Oh,
Miss Kissy, wasn't it?
Kissy Missy.
Yeah, Kissy
Uh,
Missy, while playing the Huntsman as a PNG or as an accessory on my model.
mm-hmm.
Yay! And of course, if I reach about 2K followers, I will do a live cam stream of me wearing a maid's outfit and cooking. You're gonna have fun with that one, aren't you?
I know a few people who will.
Yeah, see me in a maid's outfit and such on
One of
cam.
those is your one of those is your manager plague.
Yes, yes. Funny part about that one is that's what number 17 is. I was gonna ask. Have you stayed organized before or just go with the flow? Yes, yeah boy.
I tend to just go with the flow. I again, organization isn't my specialty.
Eh, fair
I'll
enough.
I'll take I'll take notes on things, but like I have books scattered everywhere, and I apartment gets a little angry at my clutter, but I'm working on it. I'm again giantess at freaking let's see, what 5 years ago, and I'm like I'm going on 37, so like
Wow.
31, giantess at 31.
But yeah. Oh, and of course, to answer your question, yeah, boy, idea what I'm gonna cook. Take a wild guess. It'll be a 14 cookbook. I don't have volume two, but I have volume one.
But yeah, I tend to go with the flow on things and just kind of just do my best.
Right. And here's a question I'm gonna ask you, Topanga. When do you ever see me go with the flow? Honestly, I'm asking the same thing for chat here. When do you guys ever see me go with the flow?
Again, sometimes the more you organize, the worse it is when stuff falls apart. But if you go with the flow, um, it has a Milo's Murphy's Law kind of situation where you're prepared for it because
Not for
you.
recipes, yo boy. It's basically if that I'm organized, or I just go with the flow type.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with cooking it can be so. With cooking, you can be organized or go with the flow, but when it's baking, it has to be organized. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why, it just is.
Yeah. And basically, with cooking and wise, you got to get everything at the right amount. Just you got to eye it out, everything as such, and you cannot go with the flow with the baking. Trust me, I tried it
With
and it did not
baking.
work out.
Again, like stovetop cooking, that is an art.
Mm-hmm.
Baking something in the oven, that is a science. It has to be precise.
Mm-hmm.
And there can be substitutions, but they have to be the right substitutions.
Right. But yeah, like I said, for cooking,
Yeah.
I am going to be using my Final Fantasy 14 cookbook volume, probably mostly baking
Mm-hmm.
and all. But I
Yep.
only have volume one.
Mm.
I do not have volume two. Okay. Next question before we lose track of time and all. Do you have any
Yeah.
future projects coming up?
Um. Again, I not quite sure just yet. I'm hoping to uh start more live 2D streams this summer. To have that model sometime in June. If
Right.
not, I won't be changing my deck sleeves. I'm telling you that. If it's anything past June, my deck sleeves are staying just the way they are. But
Which is
I've made an
understandable.
ultimatum on I made an ultimatum on stream and I'm keeping to it that if he can get me that model done and working before this June, all my decks switch to the Star Ham sleeves.
Right. And speaking of June,
I
you guys already know about this, but Plague and I talked, and we are going to be doing a Tremors Project community as well.
mm, I've I always try to save up a little bit of cash from the department's allowance for that that I can use to spend on things. I always give a little to the Trevor Project. It is a very good charity.
Mm-hmm. And
I
that's why I do it in
deeply
June,
appreciate it. Hmm.
because Pride Month.
Yep, and
Mm-hmm.
it's something that should be remembered, especially in these especially in the dark times of the regime that's currently here in the United States. I'm not going to push any
Oh.
further. We're just going to leave it at that. But let's just say there's a lot of people who don't want us celebrating Pride Month, but that's the point of Pride Month is that for everyone who's trying to oppress a certain group, you have to fight harder. You can't let
Mm-hmm.
it go. You have to you have to be strong in who you are.
Just like when I did the Pride Month artwork of a doctor who's Elise, and of course the Stars Tide, and myself
Hmm.
showing our true colors. I just find a base that matches them, and I draw it out, and I ask what their, you know, their sexuality is and
Yep.
such. And when they
Yep.
tell me, we look for it, and I color it my own way.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yep. So yeah, next question.
Oh,
We're
oh
almost
yeah. Before I
doing
forget,
this.
there is another project that's going to be happening in December, which is the Soul Caliber charity event for St. Jude's. I completely forgot
Oh
about
yeah,
that one.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's fine. I really should start eventually. Once I get a good motion in the, because I know there'll always be scuff, but once I get a good rhythm in my streams,
Hmm.
I'll probably look into doing some charity streams too.
Right. And note to self: do not do what I did last time before a whole month of June for the Trevor's project. Don't do that, please.
Trevor
Don't.
Project.
Because you remember what happened last time? I tried doing it and such, and I was burnt out completely. I'm like, not. I'm not gonna do this again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Don't think you'll. I don't think I'll ever do something like a subathon though, because I was I was popping in and out for Melissa Tieflings, and that was I that that would have like if I were in her situation the way she got it, I would have been burned out severely. They're taking a
Right.
month. They're taking a like 3 or 4 month break right now, but once they're back to streaming, they'll they've got some they were really burned out, and like I'm glad that timer ran out for them. They
Yeah, for me,
because that
I
would be my luck.
right.
That would be my absolute luck if I did a subathon that it would go on for years and I'd be
All
like
right.
extremely burnt out of games. I'd just be like sitting there like, "Hi, what do you want?" Like I would have to have the live 2D because I would have the I'm only sleeping stuff most of the time.
Right, right. And the other part is too, of course, and I'm not kidding about this, but for me, I'm sorry, I wouldn't do a subathon like what you said and stuff, and also I won't do like a bit those bitathons. Honestly, I won't. And people say, "Oh, why you're not doing that? You're being kind of no." I'm sorry, but that's me. If somebody wants to donate the bits to me or subscribe to me, that's their choice. That's their decision. They can spend their money they want to and whatever. And for the charity
Right,
events I do, I say, hey, if you're able to spend like about $1, $5, and if you're able to, that's totally fine. If you can't, you guys being here is good enough support for me.
right.
You know.
When you realize that, let's say you have 100 followers and each of them come in and spend $1. That's $100 right there, and that's quite a bit
Mm-hmm. And again, if people can't spend the
for what
money,
it comes to like
it's
donations and stuff.
it's totally fine. You know. Again.
Just enjoy the show, spread the word of like this, and just like it's all about awareness, really.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. What do you think of working with another streamer, like about one or two, or maybe three as a collab, or like a big group of streamers, like about 20 or more, like with the popularity ones or whatever?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to work with a lot of people. If if they're willing to collab, they want to send out a message for collabs. I'm open pretty much most of the time, and anytime there's a collab, it usually means I don't have to pick a game to play for myself because they already have a game in mind.
Mm-hmm. For me, and half of my friends know this, and half of the streamers know this, because usually, if it's with other streamers, like about one, two, maybe three or four, that's my comfort level right there, and stuff. And I'm okay with that, because if we're doing collabs together and everything, I'm okay with that. And I do it with my friends and people I know and trust. And if they invite me to a collab and stuff, it's like a huge group, like 20 or maybe more. I'm like,
Yeah, I
how
get
my
uneasy.
anxiety is.
I could probably again, I could probably deal with about 10. Like if it were a bunch of streamers in an Among Us lobby, because that's usually about 10 to 15.
Right.
That's probably not too bad. Once it gets to like the 15 range, it gets a little uneasy, but
Yeah.
usually again, when you're playing Among Us, you're focused on the tasks or the quote tasks.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for me, I go with the comfort of leveling. And truth be told, I was still scared and you were there the first time when I introduced you to Tears of Nowhere. You saw how I barely spoke to anyone. You saw how I barely
Hmm.
said a few words and all. And my anxiety was going through the roof. But with you and a couple of friends there and all, I was a little better. And I stuck with you guys mostly, didn't I? When
Hmm.
we spawned differently, I tried to look for you guys because,
Yep.
yeah. And again, chat, Topanga here known me for 16 years and they know how my anxiety is half of the time.
Hmm. Yep.
Mm hmm. But yeah. Okay, last question, and then we will go ahead and write out to somebody and end the stream here. Uh,
Okay. Yep.
Topanga, do you plan on streaming more in the near future? Yes or no?
Absolutely yes. I it's just so it's fun to do, even if it was just for handful of friends. I will continue streaming because I find it fun.
Right,
the
right,
the back end of it is a little bit of a problem sometimes, but at the end of the day, you're enjoying games with friends, and maybe a little bit of ad revenue comes in from people who stop by and watch.
right. And of course, some people say, "Oh, I'll still continue streaming and everything," and they'll be like, questionable about that because some people will say they'll continue, but really they don't. And other times they'll say,
Again, it is
"Yeah,
again, I like that a couple of questions was about, and this is about motivation, because that is one big overall thing, that it is really easy to lose motivation in it.
mm-hmm,
But you got to remember every time why you started. What what did
right,
you enjoy about it before reaching things like affiliate, or even those who are up at partner? They like things happen, like they sometimes got to look back as like, okay, why did I start doing this in the first place? Because that's where your motivation lies. You always got to think about, what was my idea when I started this? Was it a worthwhile to keep the motivation? And that's kind of why the account of Atsu faded into mine, because um Atsu in general didn't feel the motivation in it. So I took up the channel,
right."
did all the proper channels to transfer everything.
Which is understandable. But again, like I said, some people say, "Oh, I will keep streaming, but I am going to be this different person or this different kind of vibe." Because basically, some people with the
Mhm.
certain names they had, and I'm not going into full detail about it, but some people have certain names they grew up with, they're used to, and everything. But with the bad history they have, I understand because they want to change. They just want to forget about the past, the bad history, and all that stuff, and they just want to
Yep,
move forward, basically.
yep. Sometimes a rebrand is what someone needs,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's whether it's within their real identity, or just the character that's on screen, or whatever. Sometimes, like, someone might be known for playing Pokemon games all the time,
Yeah.
but then someone gets, I mean, Dos Equis got to this part, I I I've kind of followed him because I haven't gotten Legends ZA yet
Mm-hmm.
because I've kind of fallen out with Pokemon. Like
Right.
it like I still love the franchise, I still love the characters, but the new stuff I feel that they're trying to lean into the Switch too, and
Mm-hmm.
because the Switch One is running low, and I probably won't be getting the Switch 2 until the department sets up something like the birthday setup or whatever.
Right,
Like that
right.
might be my next. Like when I get the upgrades, it takes time to build things.
Time and
But I've
patience.
got, and the thing is, I have to show a need for it before they upscale Switch
Right.
2 to giant scale. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah, even though my character's from 14 and all, and people say, oh, your character's from 14 and everything, and of course, how come you're not streaming 14 and stuff? It's just, I don't want to burn myself on it. Sure, I miss playing it and all, but again, I had to uninstall it, but again, because I didn't have the room, and plus I didn't have the money for subscribing to it constantly and stuff.
Right?
But now, since I got
You
a
get to a
better.
certain point in a lot of those games.
Mhm.
You have to, like, once you get to a certain level, if it's not free up to level insert the one that you are, you're not gonna want to play it because you don't want to get stuck with a subscription because they're not giving it for free.
Well, I started out the game back in 2019, but technically, my very first time playing
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 14 when it was in Final Fantasy uh 14 back in 2010 when it came out and such. But bad history with
Mm,
that and such. I'm like, okay, I'm not touching it again. And after 9 years, a friend gave me their old
mm,
account they had, so and of course I made try like that. But besides the point, it's
mhm.
just I had to pay for the subscription and everything else and such, but again, it can get kind of old because you're buying a lot of subscriptions and
Right.
everything just to play 14 again and all. But again, it's just you
And
don't want to
again,
burn yourself out.
just because the character's from there doesn't mean you have to play those games. Again, some of the greatest fun for streaming that um, Atsu and I, when we were in the transitionary period of the account,
Hmm.
wasn't even a Pokemon game. It was Chroma Squad. Chroma Squad was absolutely fun, and I really should get back to Cosplay Club because it's by the same people who made Chroma Squad. But I don't think I'm gonna stream it because it is a very some of the combat can get a little frustrating, and I don't like being frustrated on stream.
That is true. That is true. But as for right now, chat, we are going to go ahead and find someone to raid. And I think I might have an idea exactly, but I don't know who 100%. But again, we'll just have to see who we pick. All right. But again, thank you, Topanga, for joining me and all. I had a blast. And before I forget, here are my socials as always. You're more than welcome to join the Safe Trader Custodium. And if you want to keep up to date who I interview, what I'm going to be streaming and all, go ahead and check out Blue Skies. And if you see funny content and all, hold on. Sorry, I was in a conversation and I didn't want to sneeze. But if you want to check out some funny clips, funny content, or watch the whole VOD, you are welcome to check out here on my channel, of course. And where it's pinned and all, you can check out and see the people I interviewed in the past and everything. And if you have your chat, you don't have a headset or anything, it's totally fine. You can download it on PC. It's free to play, free to use, all that. So, uh, thank you for joining me. And as always, my dear friends, before I forget as well, dang it. Here is the first raid message. Don't forget to copy that chat. All right. But we're going to go ahead and raid into another Crystarian warrior. But as always, my dear friends, till next time, we'll continue our story. And may the light be with you. Goodbye.